Hello and welcome. I'm your girl Lola and welcome to the Love Frequency. This episode is entitled, I got notes today so I feel better when I have notes. Am I doing enough? I have been feeling personally like I'm not doing enough. And I say this to really just be transparent and vulnerable to everyone that's listening or watching, that all of us fall into this space where we feel like we're just not doing enough. And in my marriage, I received that message a lot from my ex that I wasn't doing enough in regards to either spiritual growth or health or working financial growth. And I had to start to listen to that coming into my new life of me, surviving separation and being single and living with myself, and how I'm taking that message from I'm not doing enough to my own self and how I'm presenting it to myself. So I wanted to kind of touch on that feeling of like I'm not doing enough, because I am literally feeling almost blanketed, inundated with this deep sense of regret and sadness that I am really missing the mark. I'm not doing enough. I'm not taking care of myself as good as I could. I'm not growing financially. I'm not saving enough money. I'm not growing spiritually. I'm not doing the deep inner soul work that I was doing when I was married and prior to getting married. And I'm feeling like this sense of like something is missing and I'm just not enough, or I'm not doing enough. So I just wanted to kind of critically talk to you about this feeling and to kind of talk through it and to share my thoughts of how I'm experiencing it and to see if it helps someone in the nebulous and in the tribe. So I want to just kind of point out a couple of bullet points where we can look at this in a sense to help us kind of shift how we're looking at this paradigm of not doing enough and really see what's going to come next as opposed to I'm not doing enough. So, and as I sit in my energy of feeling like I'm not doing enough, I have to continue to remind myself, what are you going to do next, Leanne? What's coming next? What is your plan to succeed and to move forward? And I take this as a big moment of really sitting in that. And it's a serious thought and consideration that if I'm not doing enough, then what am I willing to do next to circumvent the feeling of not doing enough? And how can I layer the tools that I have and the abilities that I have and the knowledge I have to make myself move into a place where I'm feeling like I'm doing enough, or to feel like I'm actually worthy to honor and champion and cherish the actual stuff that I have been doing and giving myself a pat on the back. Because I think that that's also another thing that we tend to forget and to lose, is that we don't give ourselves a pat on the back when we are doing all that we can do and all that we should be doing, and we're doing it all, and yet we're feeling like we're not doing enough. So I think with that being said, I have been feeling a deep sense of wanting to isolate, wanting to close down, wanting to bring into myself all of my energy, because I feel like I'm not doing enough, or that and really feeling like I'm not doing enough is also feeling like that I am not enough in the grander, larger message of the I'm not doing enough is I am not enough. I am not enough to sustain self or to give myself any type of love or support or to give anyone that, or I'm not enough to have a good job. I'm not worthy enough to have money coming in. I'm not worthy enough to have the abundance that is mine to show up in this right now moment. So I kind of want to just go through my bullet points and talk about how we can shift from not enough to what is next. And that is a big reframe, because the art of reframe, the episode, please see the episode of the art of reframe. And this is a reframing. Instead of I'm not doing enough, I want to start to challenge myself to reframe. When I feel this, like, oh, Leanne, you're not doing enough, I want to say, oh, Leanne, what's my next step? What's our next step? So, yeah, let's look at this and say, instead of I'm not doing enough, what's my next step? And how can I actually fix this feeling of like not growing spiritually, not growing financially, not growing, in the inner landscape of self? And there's some things that we can do, and I'm going to give you some suggestions that you can do that would move you from not enough to what's next. So if you are feeling like I'm feeling, especially I'm feeling like my spiritual journey has come to this almost abrupt end, or yeah, I want to say an abrupt end. And that's the first time I've said that. It's like an abrupt end. And that abrupt end feels very like stagnant instead of completed. So I started to do A Course in Miracles on January 1st. And the first time I did the Course in Miracles, I was in it to win it. I joined a Course in Miracles study group, and I still am in contact with that study group. But I'm just reading the lesson daily, sitting with the lesson in my heart, reading some of the description of the lesson, and I'm kind of like, it's not, it hits. The Course in Miracles always hits, lesson 5, I'm not angry for the reason I think I am. That's going to always hit. So I think, and it's very interesting as I look at it in my mind. I'm like, why are we experiencing that we're not doing enough? And then when we try to do things, we're trying to do the things that would make us enough, that there's a saboteur that comes in and stops us from doing it. And I'm really experiencing, and this is deep, that I'm experiencing in real time as I'm processing this statement. I'm seeing my saboteur in action, causing me to not want to do anything and causing me to cut off myself when it comes to what's my next step. And I'm glad that I was able to reframe this today into something different. As I thought about it, it was like, okay, if I'm feeling like I'm not enough, then how can I pivot from that? How can I reframe it? And what's my next step is a big, big, big reframe. Spiritually, like I said, I was reading my Course in Miracles, and one of the suggestions I had is like, okay, I can read something spiritual a day. My 3 Science of the Mind 365. I can read the Bible. I can read Course in Miracles. Of course, I chose A Course in Miracles, and I've been doing that, but it's been a little half-hearted. But that's okay. I have been doing it and sticking to it, and so I'm going to continue to move through it and read the lessons and try to integrate the lessons into myself. And then another suggestion that I had was gratitude practice. And I think that that's something that is going to grow me spiritually so that I can stop feeling like I'm not doing enough. Is that I have to actually be grateful for the ability to practice in the way that I have been practicing, to be grateful for what I have been gifted to, the knowledge that I have been gifted and the tools that I've been gifted, and writing that down somewhere and then literally saying, I'm grateful that I can do sound healing. I'm grateful that I can do Reiki. I'm grateful that I'm a yoga teacher. I'm grateful that I'm a meditation teacher. I'm grateful that I'm a certified life coach. I'm a soul coach. I'm grateful that I've went on this healing journey to be a better person for myself, because in being a better person for me, I can help someone else to see the God in them, to see the greatness in them. So as I'm moving through this navigation of like, what is my next step? I am not enough. I'm not doing enough to what is my next step. It feels a little bit lighter, even as I'm processing it now and having this conversation with you. Now, I've been feeling like I am not enough when it comes to finances. And I know that in order to create more finances, I have to feel like I am enough, then finances will flow. And the little tiny things that I have started to do is I did start to feed into my savings account. I am paying down some of my credit cards. I am looking for a second job because I used to have 2 jobs and I lost one. I am moving towards, I've been reviewing my bills. I've been checking my accounts. I've been seeing what it is that I'm spending money on. I'm watching what I'm spending money on. I'm considering not spending the money and spending the money. I'm weighing pros and cons. So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not enough," because I, you know, sabotaged my savings account by buying a pair of shoes that I didn't need, I can just say I'm reviewing how I'm spending money, and I have definitely found myself, especially in like you're not enough, wanting to go shopping for something that is not necessary. Like I have more than enough where I live. I have more than enough clothing. I have more than enough shoes. I have more than enough pocketbooks, more than enough everything. But I've found myself feeling this depression and wanting to shop more. And I know that that's supposed to help me spike my uptake inhibitors, and then it'll make serotonin happen. And there's some of that going on in it. But now I can reframe this to say, well, what's the next step past this? And do you need this thing? And can you live without it? Can you find something in your own personal wardrobe or whatever that you have that is similar to this thing? And can you move through it and not actually need the thing because you're trying to satisfy? And this is a form of spiritual bypass. Shopping is spiritual bypass. I'm gonna have to do that's gonna be my next shopping is spiritual bypass. And I'm told I have to do a show on that. And how can I move to what is next that's going to actually benefit me instead of hurt me and sabotage me? And I've been going back to this inner growth, like how can I work on my inner growth? How can I work on my inner self? And I've been very resistant to journaling. And I feel bad every time I say it. I don't really feel like writing anything down, not one thing. This goes back to the spiritual path and coming on my spiritual journey. And now I feel like almost like it's ended. Like, okay, well, it's done. It's like spirit is like left me off the bus and was like, okay, you're good. And now I don't want to journal. I don't want to do anything. I don't even want to reflect on challenges. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to do stuff that brings me inner peace. And I know that that's something I don't want to do anything. It's really interesting to be in this space where I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough and that I don't even want to do anything to actually do enough. And this has been energetically a really interesting space to be in. And I don't think I'm alone. I don't think that I'm by myself. I don't think that it's just me dealing with this sense of like, I'm not doing enough, or you're not enough, or you're not worthy to do this thing. I lump those all together in this feeling because this is part of it, is like, you're not doing enough. Like, how could you slack? How could you not move into this space of whatever it is that people think you're supposed to be in? And that's another thing, a part of this feeling like I'm not doing enough, is that I'm also feeling like I'm not fulfilling this criteria that isn't even mine, that is not mine, that has never been mine, that will never be mine, that I'm not fulfilling it in some way. And it's like, how can I lovingly move to what is next instead of being caught in this sense of feeling of like I'm not doing enough? And this is very interesting that I'm glad that this came up as I was doing a podcast, because it needed to. The feeling and where I feel this I'm not doing enough is so in my heart space. It's so in my heart chakra and in my throat chakra. It comes in I'm not doing enough. It affects these two places. And the funniest thing, I'm wearing blue and my throat chakra is feeling really tight as I discuss that I am not doing enough. So there's going to be a part 2 to this, because I had a session with my life coach, aka therapist, and we talked about the sense of I'm not doing enough and where that idea comes from. And it was something that my ex said to me all the time: you're not doing enough. It was just like that was the biggest thing that he would say. And I realized I took on that agreement that I'm not doing enough, and no matter how much I do or what I do, it never feels like it's enough. So that's going to be a whole nother podcast on itself. That's a surviving separation podcast that I have to do. So this is so interesting, this feeling of like not doing enough. This is the deep for me, it's a deep subject, and one that I've kind of been tap dancing around to not talk about. That I just feel so like I'm not doing enough, or I am inadequate in some way. And this inadequacy is showing up in my spiritual well-being, my financial well-being, and my inner growth. And this inadequacy shows up as almost an inability to move forward in life. It's a block, and that's the spiritual block that I'm actually seeing. It's like literally I'm on a road and I can't go past this invisible boundary, as though spiritually it just stopped. My mind doesn't want to learn one more thing. My heart doesn't want to learn one more thing. My mind doesn't want to experience one more lesson. My heart doesn't want to experience one more lesson. It's kind of like a white flag is in my soul is like up, and it's just like, poke me with a fork, I'm done. So, but I guess the takeaway from this, and I do have some takeaways and some thoughts, that I'd love to share real quick. All right. I definitely will be moving towards really, when it comes to I'm going to go to the finances because that's going to be the easiest ones for me to talk about. I'm going to set another savings goal for myself, or at least paying down debt and savings goal. I definitely want to learn some new money skills because I would like to purchase a house in the next year. And I'm going to really be conscious when I review my budget about where it is I'm erroneously putting money and spending money. I do know that eating out has been a large amount of money that I've been spending, and I want to pull that back because I'm on the road a lot. So I eat out a lot, or I get snacks a lot, and I would like to pull that back. And that's going to help me financially. I think when it comes to this inner dialogue, the inner growth, I want to play a little bit more. I'm glad that it's getting warm. That inner growth, I can take myself outside. I can be in nature. That's going to be better. Can't wait to go to the beach, feel the rush of the waves. I need that so bad. So that's going to help with the inner growth. And then with the spiritual growth, I'm going to just maintain the practice of reading some positive things daily to remind myself that I should be in gratitude. And I'm going to start to hang out with people that are just like me. So that's my takeaway from it. And I hope that you've learned something from it too. And I just want to say, to all of you, my little lovelies, you are whole, perfect, and complete, and a radiant point of light. I'm blessed by your presence. Thank you so much for showing up today, for listening to this podcast, even though it feels like it was a rambling and me just being honest about feeling like I am not doing enough and therefore I am not enough. And how to reframe that to what is the next step or what is the next thing for me to do and how to move. So I appreciate you sharing your energy in this and listening and being a part of this and watching this podcast. You are whole, perfect, and complete, and a radiant point of light. I'll see you next time, lovelies. Remember, stay in the love frequency. Bye.